Hey, what's up? My name's Abraham Gray, and I have tons of businesses, and I've heard of Codie Sanchez lately. I've actually heard her name about 6 months ago. A lot of good things about her, and I started watching a couple of her videos. So I'm gonna watch one of her more popular videos right now, react to it, and see what I think.
All right, let's do it.
We bought a laundromat for $100,000 that did $67,000 in profit. Kind of passively. Although don't be fooled, nothing but free lunches, that doesn't exist.
What's really cool about this video is I've been teaching these business masterminds for many years. Over the last year or so, I've had so many people come to me and they're like, you know what, I want to get these coin laundry machines. Like for some reason over the last year or so, they became really, really popular for people. They just think that they're just money makers. I think the reason why people are so hot about it is because of Codie Sanchez. Because everyone I talk to, they're like, why do you want to get? It's Codie Sanchez, Codie Sanchez. So obviously I have to start watching Codie Sanchez. I think she'd be a really cool person to just talk to, and you know, you do a lot of the same things.
So based off just like the preliminary numbers, right? You bought it for $100,000, made $67,000 in profit in a year. What do you think about that?
So I think that's really good. I think that, you know, buying something for basically less than 1.5 times what it makes is really good. It's just a matter of, you know, it's a smaller business. Most businesses that I buy, I wouldn't really buy a business that doesn't make at least 6 figures a year. So it's not like a business that's like super sexy to me. But obviously if you could buy this one and buy a whole bunch, then, you know, instead of having a $67,000 a year profit, you know, maybe you buy a bunch of them that all make that. Now you have a few $100,000. So I mean, if I was to buy this one, I would try to buy a few others and have one person kind of manage them all. Then it's a sexier business. But the fact that she, you know, was able to pay $100,000 with zero money up front, I mean, and it seems like she does very little work. It doesn't matter what it makes. If you don't have to do a whole lot of work, you don't have to come up with any of your own money, and you could make, you know, just a free passive income, then yeah, I mean, it's definitely a very sexy business.
We're going to get into the how and the cash flow, but first, let's talk about why. Why, oh why? Would I leave Wall Street to go start buying laundromats? It sounds ridiculous, and I'm sure my mom was not too happy. I mean, I don't think there were any young kids sitting there thinking, one day I shall grow up and become a legendary tycoon in laundromat.
I think people really like Codie because she's very relatable, you're right? Like, I mean, she was on Wall Street. I mean, I was never on Wall Street. I was just always from just the street. But like, she's, you know, a young female, you know, that's doing all this, and people probably look at her and be like, look, if she could do this, I could do it. You know, it's very relatable. So I think that's why, you know, she's taken off so big. I mean, I remember like watching some of her first videos that I ever saw 6 months ago to now, and I literally see her on so many, you know, people just ask her to come and talk at all these different events, and like she's gone from like under 100,000 subscribers to hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and she's growing at a crazy and astronomical rate.
Yeah, I think another reason too is like based on the video, she's talking about really high level stuff and she breaks it down really well. Like seller financing, like she broke down super simply. She just mentioned like asset-based loans and she put it in such simple terms to where anyone can understand it. Like definitely it helps.
That's a good point, because a lot of people will talk about this stuff and they make it so confusing and nobody can understand it. Like literally, she breaks it down to like a kindergarten kid could figure it out. So I mean, that's definitely a very positive thing that she could do.
Here's why I like them, and maybe you will too. 1, they're simple. Customers do the majority of the work washing and drying their own clothes, which means 2, there's little labor. 3, upfront cash. The customers pay you right away, making accounting and tracking easier. 4, recession resistant. 5, there's a good ROI on laundry. Laundry industry has about a 20 to 35% return on investment and nearly a 95% success rate. It is a simple business to run. It's not easy, but it's simple.
The other big thing with laundromats is how much water they use. They use a ton of water. So this is one way actually that, you know, I do a lot of due diligence in all the businesses I buy. And what's cool is with this, you know, with laundromats in particular, you could look at the water usage and you could tell if people are bullshitting you or not. Because you could, you know, people can say, oh, I do this much money, but like, well, how can you do that much money if you only spend this much on water? Like we know how much water it is per, you know, load.
It's like the equivalent of checking like inventory for a retail business.
Exactly. It's such an easy way to do diligence. You look at the water and you can kind of tell how much they're doing.
Now, I'm not going to say that there are not cons. The cons, the biggest con, the number 1 con is you, or in my case, my gent, you gotta run a laundromat. You know, I don't think many of us hang out at laundromats on the day-to-day if we don't have to. They're not exactly the Ritz-Carlton, huh? You gotta get your hands dirty. I mean, do you know how to fix a laundromat? Are you an electrician, a janitor, a marketer, plumber, all in one? Or you could do what I do and you give some money to an operator to run it for you.
What she just said is exactly what I do for every business. You can go ahead and get your hands dirty and learn how to do all this stuff, or you could pay someone to basically run it for you. Now, I would suggest, like, if you've never done business before and you're younger and you're doing your first business, go ahead, get your hands dirty and do something. You know, a lot of my first businesses, I did a lot of this stuff myself, and it was very valuable. Besides the fact that, you know, I actually saved money because I did it myself, I learned a tremendous amount. So when I did buy lots of businesses later, and now I don't run any of them, really understood what it takes to run them. You know, obviously she's at a point now where she doesn't need to run any of her own businesses, just like me, and she has people that run them. And that's one of the major things when I look for a business that I look for. I look for a business that already has, you know, managers or people in place, because I don't want to buy a business that I have to run. I'm just buying a job. Maybe it's a good job, maybe it's a great job, but it's still a job. So I like buying the passive income, and that's how she started this video was, look, this is, you know, a great passive income. It's only passive income if you can hire someone to do it, and then, you know, the money's coming in, which seems like what she is doing, and that's definitely what I'm doing.
When I went to buy this laundromat, they wanted $200K and would finance through seller financing $125K. And I said, that's cute. I also want Bloomberg's balance sheet, but sadly, since he won't give me all of his money, I also won't give the price always to the business seller that they want.
What she's talking about is one of the big things that I always talk about, you know, price and terms. What's more important, the price or the terms? Well, it depends. You know, I always think the terms are more important. She basically just said, look, you know, because I'm giving you your terms, now you have to give me my price. So like they kind of work back and forth. Let's see what she says about that.
There are 2.5 million businesses for sale out there in the world today. So if I can't get the right deal on this laundromat, I can probably get the right deal on a different one.
What she's talking about is deal heat. Don't like find one business or two businesses that you really like and just, you know, think in your head, I have to buy this business, I have to buy this business, because then you're gonna do it wrong. You're gonna overpay, you're gonna give the wrong terms and all that. What's really important is there's millions of businesses out there for sale, and there's very few people looking to buy businesses. So the businesses that are for sale, they really need you. You know, you don't need them. So if you don't get the deal that you want, there's plenty of other ones out there. That's really important.
We negotiated the price and gave them a small down payment and structured a deal to do the rest of the payment over 3 years. There's lots of ways to get the seller to do this. It's called seller financing. I like to structure them so the seller wins too on the upside. Oh, shameless plug, if you want to learn more, we talk about that in unconventional acquisitions all the time. Now, for this deal, here's what the breakdown was. We make about $5,583 a month as the buyer. We got a good multiple of 1.86x.
She said 1.86 multiple. What does that mean? What that means is how much does the business make a year, and that's how much you're paying for the business. I always target buying businesses somewhere between 2 to 3 times multiple, meaning that if it makes $100,000, I want to pay somewhere between $200,000 and $300,000. On a business that's making, you know, this amount of money, it's a little bit weaker of a business, right? It's not even making 6 figures. So on a weaker business, I would definitely try to pay a lot less than 2 times multiple. So maybe between, you know, 1 to 2. She's paying 1.86 times what it makes on the average, you know, a year over the last few years. So that's a good multiple.
My cash on cash return is 268%. Now read that again. We'd make 268% in 1 year. And here you could insert like, you know, my rad dance moves of what I do when I can find a deal like that every once in a while.
You know what's funny? She was like dancing, doing all that dancing stuff. What's crazy is I bought so many deals, right? And you know, I made so much money, but every time I buy a new deal, I mean, I'm not really dancing like that, but in my head, I'm like, oh man, this is awesome. It's just so fun. It's so fun to do a deal. It doesn't matter if it's a big deal, small deal, just being able to negotiate it, find it, and close on a deal, it's really fun. So it's cool to see that she like gets excited every time she does. I get excited every time, no matter what the deal is.
When buying a small business, there's sort of 10 steps. Here they are. To buying a small business with seller financing or creative structuring. This is kind of 2 of them, maybe 1 of those steps. You've got to find the deals. You got to analyze them. This is called due diligence if you want to be fancy. But my main job here in this video today is to open up your mind.
You know, I teach people how to buy businesses and all these different things and run their business and grow it. Everyone says, you know what, I didn't even know you could buy businesses. Like a lot of my friends do real estate. Everyone knows you can buy and sell real estate, but most people in this world don't even realize you can buy businesses, sell businesses, run businesses.
Right.
You know? It's crazy. It's such a small like amount of people that do it, and very few people teach it. So I think, you know, because Codie, you know, became so popular and talks about it more, it's actually becoming a little bit more mainstream. So a lot of times when I have, you know, my events, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, you know, I've heard of Codie Sanchez. Do you do something similar to her? And you know, now I know who she is. So yeah, you know, it's similar. I've done so many deals that like I have dozens and dozens and dozens, you know, of structures of how to do it. There's all kinds of creative ways to do it. Let's see what she talks about, some of the other things, the ways she does it.
If you want to see how private equity heads become billionaires, they don't do it by buying financial firms. They do it by buying Main Street firms, boring businesses. They turn them around and optimize them and then cash flow off of them. It's a triple-sided win. Business owner gets to retire, you get to cash flow, and employees get jobs as we optimize and grow. And this is the main difference between trading stocks, where someone else has to lose for someone else to win, while building businesses, all can win. I'm not saying they always do. There's some pretty gnarly private equity guys out there, but you theoretically can.
Since she's been talking a lot about laundromats, there's another business that's almost identical to laundromats that a lot of people started talking about after, which is vending machines. Vending machines and laundromats are very, very similar, right? They're passive, they take coins or credit card, whatever. That with laundromats have become a big talk in this industry lately.
Yeah, the other one that I've heard of is car washes a lot. Like a lot of those self-operational car washes.
Car washes would be the third one, yeah.
So, but she seems like she knows what she's talking about, and she seems cool, and she breaks it down in a really like, simple way.
I can see why everybody like follows her, and I can see why she's. I mean, holy crap! I'm looking right now. She's 456,000 subscribers. I mean, literally, she wasn't even 100,000 like last year.
Yeah.
So she's growing at an astronomical rate. She'll probably hit 1 million within the next few months, I'd imagine.
Yeah, she's killing it.
So one thing I've seen that she does is, besides talking about all her businesses, I'm not sure how many businesses she has. She actually goes out and talks to other business owners that own businesses and break down how they do it, which is pretty cool. I think that it'd be super cool to actually do a video with Codie and have her break down some of the businesses I've bought, lately, or the ones I bought decades ago. It doesn't matter. I've been buying businesses over 32 years, and I have some really cool stories. I'm going to break down a lot on my YouTube channel, but it'd be cool to do a collab and have her do a story on one of the businesses she thinks would be fun for her channel as well.
100%. All right, guys. Well, if you guys like this video, like, subscribe, comment. Let us know other videos you guys want us to react to, and we'll see you on the next video.
See you on the next video. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of these cool videos going forward.